343 had one of their Ask 343s, which is a live stream where they answer community questions. Someone asked if there would be playable elites in the game, and this was their answer.
Okay, that's another big question. You know, similar to the last answer, no, we're not currently planning on supporting elites as a playable character in Infinite. And the reason is, you know, this is a Master Chief story and a Spartan story, especially in multiplayer. We want to make sure that we focus on how Spartans battle against each other and that it feels fair and it's competitive, it's balanced. And, you know, we love elites, but never say never. Maybe we'll see that one day, but right now the current plan is you're going to be playing Spartans.
I can't lie, I was really disappointed. It's kind of a no-brainer to include elites in Halo. They add on to the customization in a way no other FPS does. I can't think of another FPS that lets you do this. It's so unique. 343 should embrace this. Maybe even add in playable brutes like was rumored. So let's get into the benefits of playable elites. First of all, customization, obviously. Having elites be playable means players have greater choice of their appearance. And there is a lot of really good inspiration to make really cool elite styled armors. Second, invasion. Invasion is the most Halo shit ever. Spartans versus elites, capping points, planting bombs, all out combat. It's amazing. Invasion is the coolest shit at it, and since playable elites were gone, so is Invasion. But there's no reason not to bring it back. Halo Infinite is going to be a 10-year game, right? So they really should just go all out on this to help it last. On the gameplay side of things, Invasion wasn't perfect, and this is highlighted even now that it's on MCC with all the cheese strats. But 343 could learn from these mistakes and make it more balanced. Invasion is one of those game modes that people will just play forever, so it would make sense for it to come back for Infinite. People will always be on it. However, Invasion is not possible without the elites. It just wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be as Halo. Okay, third, monetization. Halo Infinite is going to be free to play. This means that they will monetize it, most definitely through armor coatings, weapon skins, and potentially armor pieces. Having elites be playable means there is another avenue to milk the player base. And it won't just be the OG elite players that would be doing this, it would also be new people. Right now in MCC, I see way more elites than back in the OG days. Back then, elites were kind of rare. You never really saw people playing as them. But now they're around, which to me, that says that all the new people on Steam and maybe even Xbox on the Game Pass are coming into Halo, they're seeing the elites, and they're choosing to play as them. Most Slayer matches, I will say, I will be the only elite, and Team Slayer, it's sort of like 50-50. But BTB, there are always elites. In fact, I did an experiment where I played 50 games of BTB on Halo 3 and found that I never went more than 5 games without seeing an elite. You can look at it for yourself. Let me know if I sound crazy, but to me, that sounds like a decent amount of people interested in it to at least warrant a little investment. And again, a lot of new people would like the elites too, because it's different in a good way. Also, supporting elites with new armors at the same rate as the Spartans means that people will become even more invested to play an elite. As honestly, right now in MCC, the only reason to play this elite is if you are like me and just simply prefer it. They have yet to give them anything new. And don't try to say there's no demand, because there is. So I rest my case. Financially, playable elites would work quite well in Halo Infinite's free-to-play model. Fourth, story. 343 says that Halo Infinite is a Spartan story. Again? We're doing this again? They haven't learned that the Spartan stories that they've done are just not as strong as Halo 2 and 3s that feature Spartans and the elites? Now, playable elites means you guys can make Arbiter missions again. It's cool to see Halo from a different point of view. What is Arbiter doing on St. Helios after the revolution, right? This could also segue into playable brutes. Why not have Atriox missions? Atriox is the coolest villain in Halo, period. Make us do villain shit as a brute. That would be sick. I don't want to hear it. Now, staying on topic, playable elites and potentially brutes would make single player co-op really cool, as player 1 will always be Master Chief, but what about player 2 and 3? Are they just going to be some random Spartans? Why not let them choose to be the Arbiter, or an ex-banished, or the Blue Elite, right? Why limit the customization and the social experience? We should be striving to make it better, and something like this adds to the social experience of Halo a lot. And the social experience of Halo is objectively more important than competitive Halo. Halo Infinite wants to be the best Halo ever, and I want it to be too. This is a no-brainer. So I just lined up a few reasons, and honestly, if this doesn't make 343 do it, nothing will. And playable elites will just forever be stuck in the Bungie era. And honestly, there is not a good reason to not have playable elites. Every issue is easy to fix. I'm going to break them down right now. 1, make competitive Spartans only. So a fair issue people have with playable elites is that they have a different hitbox than the Spartans, which spawns more issues. So for instance, in Halo 3, the head is hunched over, so getting a headshot from behind was a little tricky. But getting from the side was easier. In Halo 2, same as OG Halo 2, elites are straight up just easier to hit, and Spartans' heads were really small, so it was just easier to get killed as an elite. And Halo Reach is a special case because while they are bigger and easier to hit, they're also like another class basically, because in Halo Reach, Spartans couldn't regen their health, they had to use a med kit, but elites could just heal. And also only elites had access to the evade armor ability, and likewise Spartans only had access to sprint, despite them having animations for both. So an easy way to fix these issues is to just make competitive Spartans only. That way in competitive it will always be consistent and the social experience will flourish thanks to playable elites being in the game. And honestly, I know I set this up as potentially having multiple reasons, but frankly, really it's just the competitive. The only thing I really see people complaining about why they don't want elites is only about hitboxes. But again, make competitive Spartans only. Social is social. Okay? Let me repeat that. Social is social. There's no reason for it to be competitive. It's not competitive. So why limit customization in a social setting? So now, all that aside, I do have really high hopes for the story. I know the story of Halo Wars 2 and the Banished are a really cool villain compared to the Covenant. Not to mention graphically, the progression can speak for itself, as long as this isn't faked. The game sounds really incredible on its own, like just everything we've seen, but playable elites would be that cherry on the top. It just makes so much sense to add them in. 343, please do it.